So we'll now demonstrate how to make all the guide curves that will be used in this sweep. I will start with the trailing edge. On the front plane, I'll draw a sketch, and I will simply copy the trailing edge from the front layout. Finish that sketch. On my tilted plane, I will make a new sketch and copy the line that represents the trailing edge in this right-hand layout. That's there. Finish the sketch. I have this element in this sketch, this element in this sketch. I will project them together. Insert curve projected. Now what I have is a blue line that represents the true three-dimensional curve that is the trailing edge. Starts at this point, arcs down, to the dropout. So it looks like this curve in this view, and it looks like this curve in this view. We'll continue this process until we have all four curves built up. So now I'll do the leading edge. So on the front view, make a sketch, copy the leading edge, finish the sketch. On the right tilted plane, new sketch. We're going to reuse this curve because it represents both the leading and the trailing edge. Finish the sketch. Now we have two sketches we can project together again, this one and this one. Insert curve projected. Now we see in blue our three-dimensional leading edge curve. Do the same now finally to get the outside and inside curves. Front plane, sketch, copy these lines, finish the sketch. Now we're worried about the outside curve. So on the tilted plane, copy these lines, finish the sketch, giving us two new sketches we can project together. You see now we have a three-dimensional curve that represents, I'll just turn off my sketches for a moment, three-dimensional curve that represents the outside edge of the blade, trailing, outside, leading edge. Just one more curve to make. Front plane, sketch. Going to reuse this curve again because the outside and inside curve are on top of each other in this view. Now we'll use the inside. Gives us two sketches, once again to project together. Insert curve projected. Turn off the sketches. We can see the four guides that the profile of the blade is going to sweep along. Just by looking at this, we can already imagine what this blade is going to look like. Now we've come to the last step before we can actually make our sweep. The last element we need is the actual profile, which will be swept along these curves. That profile in our design is going to be an oval. of course, could be something else. It could be a diamond shape or a curvy diamond or whatever, in this case, would have 4 separate points traveling along the guide curves. On our front plane, we'll draw a new sketch. You're going to be very tempted to just simply use convert entities to copy this oval that's already available to you and try to sweep that down the guides. Absolutely do not do this. The reason is that when you do a sweep with guides, the profile sketch needs to have Pierce relations to all of the guides. Because this oval was drawn before the guides, it has no Pierce relations to them. Unfortunately, what that means is that this oval was just acting as a placeholder for us to get our geometry correct in our sketches, but we have to redraw this sketch again and make proper Pierce relations to all 4 of the guides. So I'm going to do that, and instead of drawing an oval, I'm actually going to draw a spline. The reason for this is if I draw an oval, we have a little bit of a problem where ovals always require the major and minor axes to be at right angles to each other. We cannot guarantee that that condition can be met as the oval is being swept down these 4 guide curves, and as a result, the sweep might fail. So instead, we'll draw an oval made out of a spline that the guides can independently manipulate these 4 corner points of. So I'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we have a spline shaped like an oval. I'm going to hide my sketches and take these 4 points and pierce it to the 4 guides. Now, you might have trouble sometimes selecting a guide curve. If you do, select it from the feature tree. So select this curve, this point, pierce, this point, this curve, pierce. Now I have a nice oval, all 4 points pierced to the 4 guides. If I want to, I can control these handles. I can even make them so that they are parallel to this axis, and these handles parallel to this axis, but I'll just leave it alone for now. So I have all the elements I need: a profile, 4 guides. I will close the profile sketch. I'll hide my original layout, so all I see right now is my profile and 4 guides, and I'm ready to do my sweep. This, of course, is my profile, and up to now I've been generically referring to these as 4 guides. In reality, what we have is 1 path and 3 guides. We have to decide which one will be the path. In experimentation, I didn't see a lot of difference in the results choosing any one of these as a path, but I think I would choose the outside here as a path because it's the one that's probably the most perpendicular to the profile plane. So choose, this is my path. Before we add any guide curves, we see it's just a constant profile swept down along the path. And I'm going to open up the guide curves box and add 1 guide curve at a time. Now you might see that all of a sudden your preview disappears, making you think that this is going to fail. Don't panic, just start adding the next guide curves and see if the preview comes back again. Here you see that it has. Three guides, 1 path, 1 profile. Here is my completed blade. Just to demonstrate, I'm going to mirror this on this plane. because we made sure all of our guide curves were perpendicular to the mirror plane, which is the same plane that the profile was drawn in, what I should have when I mirror these two halves across the mirror plane is a nice clean join between the two, which I can demonstrate by turning on zebra stripes. And here you see the stripes join up very cleanly. This is the completion of this portion of the tutorial.